I'm originally from Queens, New York, born to parents from the Dominican Republic who were immigrants. We were very poor, so we lived in basements, we lived in one-bedroom apartments. We made the best of it, spending a lot of time in the park, playing on the streets like crazy. My mother was a Roman Catholic growing up. My father was indifferent. As a young child, we really didn't participate so much into the traditions of the church per se, but once I became kindergarten, first grade, my mom felt convicted, so she put us into Roman Catholic sacrament classes. It didn't draw me any closer to God. I kind of just checked the box that I completed this activity for my mother. I kind of put that behind me and just moved on with life. I had a void in my life where I just wasn't satisfied with anything really, to be honest. I wasn't satisfied with working per se. No job was motivating. Money wasn't a motivator for me. Cars weren't a motivator. No matter what the experience or the interaction with people, it just never gave a lasting fulfillment. I would never even tell my wife that I had these feelings. I wouldn't even share with her. I found myself in a situation where I was desperate and having nowhere to turn. About 10 years ago, my older son was feeling ill and my wife was concerned with his health. So she wanted to seek God. But for me, God was religion, and I didn't want religion. She was working with a friend who was a Christian who recommended a Christian channel to her. My wife said, there's this series going on about the book of Daniel and prophecies, and it's being done by Amazing Facts and this man called Pastor Doug Batchelor. And she said, would you like to watch it with me? I said, okay, I'll watch it with you then. I'll watch it. The gold and the silver and the bear and the lion, all this stuff. And I was just blown away from a secular standpoint. Because again, my thought process before was the Bible is a book of fables. So I decided if God is real, I'm gonna buy a Bible of my own. So I found an Amazing Facts study Bible and I just poured out my heart to God. I just said, Lord, if you're real, I need you to show yourself to me very, very clearly, because I'm at a point in my life that I'm desperate. I want to know the truth. If you are God, I will do anything for you. But if you're not, I'm turning away. So I opened it and I saw the first chapter was Genesis 1. And all of a sudden I get to verse 29 of chapter 1. And verse 29 speaks about this plant-based diet. And I'm like, plant-based? And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, why am I reading this verse? And he said, you said you would do anything, prove it. And I made that prayer and I said, if you give me strength, I will no longer eat meat or fish or anything else, and I'll commit my body to you, my life to you. Went to the kitchen, my wife was there as usual, cooking for the kids. And I said, I made a decision that I'm going to be plant-based. And she almost fell off her chair. My wife eventually came on board and she changed her diet. We were making all these changes. No more drinking, no more worldly movies, no more, everything was being dropped off, not because someone was telling me. We just, okay, the Bible says it, so be it, that's what we're gonna do. Once we were baptized, somebody had handed us a little book called Country Living, and we read it that same night, and we said, we are leaving the city. I was looking at Amazing Facts, and all of a sudden I see this message from Pastor Doug on Country Living. So I watched it not once or twice, I watched it many times. It seemed achievable, like, hey, it can happen, because Doug was from New York City too, like us. So I said, Julie, we have to go south somewhere and look for land. And now we're here in the country, surrounded by trees, not a car you will ever hear, and not a neighbor you can see. Our experience now has truly been a blessing. God has changed everything in our life. God filled the void. I felt full for the first time. My name is Benny. Thank you for changing my life.